trying.
it up about the police thing tonight, you better be really good for me.
What police on?
Interstate.
Hey. No, I'm buying that up yet, man. We ready.
Ready? You got 30 minutes tonight, I'm gonna hit that thing down. my 12-hour certificate in. Thank God. Harvey, you bring that up out that water tonight. Will you bring that up out the water last night? Yes, everybody leave that to the state. Then we can have a question.
Yeah, you went to the other side. My office. Because when I did hear from you, I was like, sir, you can push this back. I was just like, the road's later. I was like, ain't nothing
Thought for a minute that didn't work. All right, we ready? Good evening. We will call the meeting to order. Was that funny the way I did that? Well, Miss Yvonne, we do have a quorum tonight with all members present. We're going to open tonight with a prayer and a pledge. I'm going to ask our Vice Mayor if he'll pray for us, if you'll all rise.
Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for another day you've given us. Just thank you for who you are, what you do for us, and all the blessings you bestow upon us each day. Father, I thank you for our town, for all our employees, Lord. Just be with them working through this weather. Just watch over them and protect them in a special way. Bless our town, be with our citizens. Just put a hand over each and every one of them, Lord, and keep them safe. Thank you for this board. Just give each one of us the knowledge, wisdom, and ability to make the right decision that can move forward, and just give us the resources we need to do what we need to do. Just pray that you'll forgive us of our sins. I pray and ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Much better. All righty. All right, next is the approval of the agenda. Mr. Ellis, I think you have a couple of additions.
I do, Mayor and Board. I would ask that under special item 6, we would add Ms. Haley Duffy with the Carl Perkins Civic Center and allow her to speak to us briefly. Secondly, I would ask that we would add Resolution 2506 under Section 15, New Business Resolution, regarding charter changes.
I object to that. To that addition,
The first one or the second one or both?
not just the second one.
Okay.
The reason I object to the resolution number 2506, it is a very important item in regard to our town's charter. And we don't want anybody coming back and saying we snuck something under the rug as it wasn't properly posted for all of our citizens to see. And in the past, it has been the habit that we always had a workshop, always to discuss whatever possible changes that were going to be. And I think because of these two items, we should not approve addition to the agenda, add it to the next workshop, discuss it, then present it at the next meeting. Because we do not want, again, to show that we are, as they say, with agenda items out there, if you've ever attended an MTAS, how to do an agenda, you can get called in on the rug for not allowing proper notice for this. And I see no reason why we cannot have a workshop on it, as we have always done.
We had this on our last workshop. Mr. Ellis was supposed to have included this on the agenda. From my understanding, it was an oversight.
Correct.
It's a simple resolution that has no effect until it comes back from the state of Tennessee, and this board has to pass it again, and that probably will not be until May. I would say May. So
Well-
we have until now to May, and from May to read and discuss the document, and then, I think that's more than ample time. Mr. Minor, do you have anything?
Well, that would be, timeline that's about right. I would say May, end of May, when the legislature begins to wrap up its session.
You and I spoke about this, and you said this is a simple resolution, no problem adding it tonight.
It can be added to the agenda, yes.
Okay.
And it can be, that is true. Now, when you brought it up at the last workshop, you brought it up as something that you wanted to discuss in the future. You said, I've got a laundry list of items, and went through them briefly. There was no discussion at all about any of your items for anybody to research and see and have an opinion, because it was a workshop. And I think that rushing to judgment on this, most of the items is here are simple. I see no problems with it. It's the process that's being done that I do not like.
It was an inadvertent process. Had he not overlooked it, it would have been on the agenda. And does anybody else have any comment? We are under a time constraint. The state would like these in earlier rather than at the end of the session. They're not going to be in session. You know, I spoke to Representative Ryan Gant yesterday. I told him that we would more than likely be voting on this and sending it to him this week. So I just need a motion on the agenda.
She did the motion. Did you have a
Yes.
second?
I'll make a motion to add this to the agenda.
I just need someone to make a motion to approve the agenda with the additional items being Haley Duff to speak and Resolution 2506. Is there a motion for that? Haley Duff and Resolution 2506.
Make a motion, we accept the agenda with the amendments, additions.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
No.
4 for yes, 1 for no. That's a pass, Madam Recorder. Okay. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes. I assume everyone's had time to read these. The first one is from January the 16th. It was a beer board meeting. I'll take a motion when you're ready.
Make a motion to accept it.
I have a motion to accept from Vice Mayor Cates. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Campbell. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda, January 16th, regular board meeting minutes.
If nobody has any changes, I make a motion to pass it.
Motion to approve from Vice Mayor Cates, second.
Second.
Second from Alderman Austin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. February 6th, special call meeting.
No changes, I make a motion to pass it.
Motion to pass by Vice Mayor Cates. Second by Alderman Bailey. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. All right. Okay, on to fun stuff. Now we're on to special items. Tonight from the Veterans Group, we have Mr. Bill Dwyer, if you'd like to come up.
I would like to introduce Mr. Bill Dwyer. We have talked on the phone probably about a week and a half ago about an addition he would like to make to Northwoods Park. I think I put maps out on the little rectangle marked on that in the front of Northwoods Park. That's where he would like to place a tree that me and him have talked about. From there, I will pass it on to him.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Bill Dwyer. I live on 194, half a mile outside of your jurisdiction. So this is new to me and a lot of fun. I'm in the Sons of the American Revolution, and to give you a bit of history, back 250 years ago when this nation got started, there was a Liberty Tree in Boston. And the Sons of Liberty used to gather around that, and people would have, they'd have meetings, they'd tie notes on the tree. When they had a demonstration, they'd hang around the tree. The tree became a symbol of freedom, even before the revolution started. And then when the British got here, they chopped it down. They said, we're gonna win the war, we're gonna chop down the tree, no more freedom. Of course, that didn't work. It was an elm tree, American elm, and as you know, the Dutch elm disease killed just about every elm tree in America a while back. Well, since then, of course, they have hybrids, and there's a new American elm tree. It's called the American Princeton tree, and it's immune to all those diseases and the elm bug and all the rest. And so what the Sons of the American Revolution are doing nationwide is we are planting liberty trees, elm trees, and they're about 5 feet, 6 feet high. The idea would be they grow into a big tree just like the one that was there 250 years ago. And once it leaves out, if you planted it in one of the parks, once it's a stick now basically, but once it leaves out, well, we'd have a little program there, and we'd plant a stone with a maybe 8 by 10 or 7 by 8 brass plate, bronze plate that says it's a liberty tree, and it's in honor of all the Americans that fought, and it's put there by the Sons of the American Revolution, honoring our 250th anniversary. And so that's why I'm here. It's free. We'll give it free, and furthermore, if it dies, we'll replace it. And this is what that tree looks like when they get to be 60 or 80 feet. They're beautiful trees. I only have 4 of these, I'm sorry. Just so you can see what we're talking about. And below the picture of the tree is the plaque that we would put behind the tree as soon as it leaves out and it looks like it's healthy enough to have a program. And we can put it anywhere you want. There's one in Goldsmith's Garden. There's 4 or 5 of them around this area that our chapter is putting out. And of course, there's 60,000 of us across the country, so there's going to be a lot of these trees eventually. And of course, we could put it anywhere you want. The idea would be it'd be in a park, someplace where people could look at it as it grew and got bigger and bigger. And I live up there on 194, and I keep an eye on it if you put it up there, because it does have to stay damp for the first couple of years. Somebody's got to pay a little attention to it. And I know I wouldn't want to have the parks have to worry about it. So I could sort of take care of it as I go by there every day, put a little water on and keep it going for a couple of years. That's my recommendation, but you could put it anywhere you wanted. We'd be glad to do it. And I have it in my garage right now, so if you want it, I can deliver it, and then you can stick it where you want, and then we'll take care of the rest. That's my story, and I'm sticking to that.
So, I was gonna ask why this park, and you kinda really answered that. I'm assuming there's enough space. Elm trees get large,
They
and
did, yeah, it's
they can
about-
break easily in a bad storm. Oh, well, let me take that back. They can break in it.
They can, right?
Is it gonna be far enough off the road where it's not gonna
Oh, yeah.
hopefully impede
There's
traffic?
a spot, if you look at that park on the left-hand side, there's quite a bit of property there before you hit that new subdivision.
Yes.
And it would fit there without any trouble, I think, size-wise. It gets to 60 eventually. They're fast-growing trees, but eventually, 30 years from now, it'll be 60 to 80 feet tall. And it'll be, depending upon how it grows, maybe 60 feet wide. But it could fit in there without any trouble, I think, that one spot. It's about the only spot there on to the left-hand side.
How long is it gonna last in your garage? It needs to be planted fairly quickly, I assume?
Well, it's not in this week necessarily, and it's a stick right now. In other words, dormant. And
Gotcha.
so it doesn't have to be planted. It should get a little bit of water occasionally, I guess, to keep it damp. But it could be, I would stick it in the ground before it leaves out. In other words, I put it in the ground before a month's over.
Vice Mayor?
Is it a particular reason you putting it here? I'd like to see it go down at our new park on the entrance. I mean,
Any place you want it.
That's just my opinion.
Any place you want. It's just, there's the caveat that it's a small tree, and of course, it couldn't stand the summer without water. It has to be watered occasionally. And I'm not sure what you're talking about, but if there was somebody there is that me? This is a recording.
That was just a suggestion.
Yeah.
We
Any
a
place.
new park,
yeah,
sports
any-
complex
if
down
you- Yeah, sure.
right out here, and I just wondered what it would be like on the entrance of that.
Is
Just
this
suggestion.
something, do we need to act on this tonight? Is this something that we can give approval for our town manager and our parks director to work with, to find a good place for that? Or is this something that the board needs to approve since we're actually gonna plan on putting a monument or something near it at some point?
We can make a motion to suspend the rules, since it's not on the agenda, and we can vote on it with the caveat that the town manager and our public works and all will come up with a respective place to have it planted.
Is that good, Mr. Minor? Okay. Does anybody else have any other discussion, any questions?
That's my motion.
So can you repeat that motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we accept the elm tree from the
Sons-
Isaac Shelby Chapter, Sons of the American Revolution,
That'll be us.
and that, under the direction of our town manager and our public works, finding a suitable location for the tree.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second from the vice mayor. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you for coming.
Okay.
You got your tree?
I need the telephone number for whoever would,
You can, yes, you can get it from Chase.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
This
Thank
has been
you.
a lot of fun. The last time I did this, it was in Memphis.
Oh, well, come back again another time.
All righty. Ms. Haley from the Carl Perkins Center.
Thank you for amending the agenda and allowing me to talk today. My name is Haley Duffy. I'm the director of the Carl Perkins Center. The center is located in Somerville, but we cover all of Fayette County. And I was a citizen of Oakland for 15 years, but I moved a couple years ago to the country. I'm here tonight. I want to tell you a little bit about the center. I've got a couple of familiar faces, but I know many of you I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting. We're the Child Advocacy Center. We handle all the severe abuse cases in the county, working with law enforcement, the Department of Children's Services, the District Attorney's Office, local mental health and medical representatives to work the severe abuse cases. We do trauma therapy, we do victim advocacy, nurturing parenting classes, and we also do prevention training. But before I get into that, I want to let you know that in 2024, our Child Protective Investigative Team worked 69 severe abuse cases in Fayette County, averaging one new severe abuse case every 5 days. During our 23-24 fiscal year, we provided services to 125 children in Fayette County. We currently have 21 in our therapy program, 12 children in our advocacy service. Many of those are awaiting upcoming trials. In the last 8 years, we've trained over 2,000 adults here in Fayette County to prevent, recognize, report, and react responsibly to child sexual abuse through this Stewards of Children training. Just in December, I trained the staff at the health department. We've trained teachers at every public school and Fayette Academy. We've trained law enforcement, DCS staff, teachers, daycare workers, church leaders, volunteers, and many others. This year, our advisory board decided that for Child Abuse Prevention Month, which is April, that we would invite all of our county's leaders to attend this training. It's a 2.5-hour training. It is very well done, and it's going to teach adults how to prevent child abuse, how to react responsibly to the abuse, how to make reports, and give you a little information about how that process works. We also teach you, if you were to receive a disclosure from a child, how to react to that. Many adults over the years, I can't tell you how many have said, oh, I tell my child if someone ever touches them, I'm going to kill them. And I said, well, if that someone that touches them is in their home and one of their family members, they're never going to tell you. And that's where child sexual abuse typically happens. It's someone that you leave your child alone with. So, as leaders of the community, I'm asking you to come take one of these trainings. You've all got one of these slips, and it is open to the public. I'll leave these outside. We've got 3 trainings starting April 28th, May 1st, and May 3rd. 3 different days of the week, 3 different times of the day, and I hope one of those times is going to work for each of you. There's a QR code to scan and sign up. This is a free training to all of you. It is not free to us. We've got to purchase the books. It's $16 a piece for us. We do get some grant funding for this. And so we want you guys to come, and I hope you will. You can bring a +1, a friend, a neighbor, anybody. And I'm happy to answer any questions should you have any.
Any questions, any comments?
On a side note, I want to let people also know that you've got a big event coming up on the 12th of March, which is Fayette's Got Talent.
It is, 12th of April.
12th of April.
Yes, our Fayette's Got Talent, that is our largest fundraiser. It will be held at the venue in Somerville. That's the only place that we can hold 400 people and have a great time. So tickets are for sale. We do have a Facebook page. It's Carl Perkins Child Advocacy Center -Fayette. And so if you're not following that, I hope you will. And you'll be able to stay in touch with all the things we have going on. We have a prayer breakfast. We have a proclamation. We have Child Wear Blue Day, all kinds of things. And we love y'all to participate any way you can.
Alderman Campbell had a,
I'm a member of the Memphis Classic Chevy Club, and we did a show for them out there last year. They had over 200 cars and raised over $11,000. It's a great organization.
Over $16,000. Thank you.
you deal with an unpleasant subject matter, but you do a very good job and you service this county well. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
All righty.
Invite a friend.
All righty. Citizens' comments. Is there any citizen here that wishes to comment tonight? Show of hands. Show of hands. Okay. Then we're going to move on to comments from the mayor. I don't really have anything specific tonight. I want you guys to know I've been meeting and talking with a lot of people. There's a lot of commercial interest in Oakland. You guys are going to start seeing a lot of growth between this year and next year. I know one of the things on the agenda tonight is the park. I met with a local business who wants to contribute to this phase of the park and every additional phase of the park going forward. So it's good to see more and more local support coming out and supporting our endeavors. I'm going to leave it at that for the night, and we're going to go to comments from the Board of Aldermen. Mr. Vice Mayor?
I don't have anything tonight.
Nothing tonight. Mr. Bailey? No? Ms. Hummel?
Nothing.
Ms. Austin? Mr. Campbell? Wow. We are going to have a short meeting. Well, we ain't got to the fire department yet. Board of Aldermen. Okay, reports from department heads. Is there any department head who wants to say anything to the board or go over their reports? Come on up. Mr. Eric Armstrong from the Water Department.
Just want to let the board know, next month, we'll have the vote for ceasing fluoride in the water. I know we got some new board members. I'll make sure I'll get you some information on that, the same I gave to the members in the past. I expect a big crowd from the Department of Health to be here advocating for it, so just be ready. They're gonna, like last time, they're gonna come in hordes, so, got any questions on it? No?
Have you heard of anything going through the state?
Yes, there's a couple of bills on the House floor now. One is to kill it across Tennessee. The other is to lower the limits. That really doesn't make sense to me. I hope if they do something, just kill it. Just don't tighten it up where it's horrible to deal with. So
Right.
that's all I got.
Eric, could you spend a minute and explain to the board the water quality report that's in your report?
Oh, yes, we do those annually. Customers can view it online. We'll have the link hopefully on the next bill. They have to be done by June 30th of each year, but I try to push them out around March. But it just goes over all our testing that we've done in the last year, or if we've done it. Some things are triennially, so it's just our most up-to-date records.
Eric, is that something we have to mail to every customer, or do we just have to
We
make it
used to
available
direct
for
mail,
them to
once we got
view?
above 10,000 population on the water system,
Yes,
we either had to direct mail or you can put it online.
Okay.
It's a lot easier just to put it online. It's 3 months of the notification on the bill and we're done with it.
gotcha. It's a little cheaper for our town, too.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Eric? Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for reminding us of that, because that is gonna be a big deal next month. It will. Okay. Any other department head? Is there an alderman who has a question for any department head? Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Have we done anything started on the audit yet for this year?
I think Ms. Wright maybe could speak to that.
Would you like to come up, or do you can either stand or whatever you feel comfortable with?
You asked about the 25?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's my understanding that the town is still working to gather information for that audit. Auditors are now doing taxes, so it's going to be a while before they get to it.
So we're starting early enough that we'll be finished on time this year.
Probably not, no, sir. I know.
Okay. The same company doing the audit this year?
Yes, sir.
This is what we voted on,
Yeah.
put a search out for, okay, all right. Okay, anything else?
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on, town manager's report.
Just two quick things. I want to let you know, staff are working on their budget. They've already started that. So as soon as we make a first run through, I'll be getting some information to you guys, probably in a workshop setting. Secondly, we had two employees, Miss Bethany Green and Stacy Grooms, recently completed their certified municipal clerk and recorder certification. So that's taken quite a while for them to complete that, and I want to acknowledge them for the effort that they put into that.
Excellent.
That's all I have.
That's all, okay, all righty.
The fireworks is coming up later, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on, under old business, we have nothing tonight. Under new business, we have an ordinance on the first reading. It's ordinance 2501. If I can digress for just a moment, I want to let the public and I want to let the newly elected aldermen know, to hear an ordinance, I need a motion and a second and a vote. To hear a resolution, I just need a motion to hear. So, is there a motion to hear ordinance 2501?
I make the motion.
Motion from Alderman Hummel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Vice Mayor Cates. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Ellis?
Mayor and Board, Staff has reviewed all of our budgets. You'll see a worksheet on the second page attached to the ordinance for a few departments. We had a very thin budget that was approved, and we knew that we were going to be close on several things. And I honestly think we'll be just fine, but in an effort to be sure, I'm recommending the following amendments. If you'll look at a couple of things, I want to point out a few things. Two of the largest things that really caught us by surprise is the general liability in the police department. If you look at that number, we had a tremendous increase in that, and that's directly related to some litigation in the past. And the other one that sticks out is the contractual services. I'll be perfectly honest, our current IT company is much more expensive than we anticipated. You'll be hearing more about that from me. I'm looking to make some changes. Not sure quite how and when we can, but I think if you polled the staff, they would agree we are not getting the level of service that we're paying for, and we'll leave it at that. So those are the two main ones I'd like to point out. I'll try to answer any questions if you have any. The total budget amendment to the general fund recommended is $497,000. Then we have a second amendment in the drug fund. Special fund drug of $3,790. The one for $3,790 has to do with the price of the vehicles that were budgeted. The price changed between the time we set our budget and we ordered the vehicles.
I understand. All right, are there any questions, comments from anyone? Well, okay, I'll take a motion if anybody's ready. It does seem like, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
It is.
You gotta move line items around to get this.
I'm sorry,
The line items, as you can see, if you look at the first column, are the budgeted numbers.
110.
And then we calculate what we spent 7 months so far into this fiscal year for what we spent. And we use that number to multiply it to 12 months to recommend the change in the middle column, the change in the budget. That middle column totaled up is what our total is. And I forgot a very big one that you guys need to know. In this amendment, I'm recommending $250,000 additional for paving. So that's a big part of this, so.
So we still in a budget to do this?
Yes, well, it's a budget
Okay.
amendment, so again, recommending $250 to additional paving for
Where
our
is the
spring.
paving? Is that under,
It's in pink under
Capital outlay?
Public Works, yes.
okay, and where is the, you mentioned our internet company, what
It's
line is
called
that?
other contractual
Contractual services,
yes.
$10,000?
Well, if you look at police, we budgeted 85, we're gonna be 25 short on that. And if you'll look on codes, we're gonna be 10,000 short there.
Okay.
And the others are gonna be pretty close. Again, I'll have more discussion on that particular issue later, probably in a work session.
Can you tell me about the repair and maintenance of buildings? Last line on the green. We had budgeted $0 and
Yes, oh, in the green, I was looking at,
That second page.
I have to defer to Joe. Joe, do you recall what that particularly was, Joe, or Ed, building and maintenance?
329?
We budgeted $0.
We were leasing the building.
I think we budgeted $0 was the problem.
that's right, I remember that.
If you look in that first
I remember
column.
that.
Yeah, because we were leasing the building, but I guess according to the lease, is only the AC and the roof is covered. Everything else we have to do.
I understand.
Yeah, terrible.
I'm sorry, Ms. Rice, you raised your hand. Did you have a comment or something you wanted to?
I did. I was going to explain some of this if you would like
Yes,
me to do so.
please.
Okay. So on this budget amendment, legal fees for police department or your liability insurance, we budgeted $38,000. It exceeded that by $100,000. That's $100,000 of this amended budget. Second of all, we have $250,000 that we would like to use to fix our streets. That is a $250,000 additional for this amended budget. Your contractual services, we budgeted $60,000. At the anticipated rate of what they are charging us, it looks like we will hit almost $200,000 for the year. That's where your additional expenses are. The other items in here are just where they have not been budgeted for. Since we are doing a budget amendment, we're gonna go ahead and take care of those now. Also, codes is needing an extra person, and that is within this budget amendment as well. So it doesn't take long for that to add up to the $497 or $97,000, so.
And I'm also assuming that you want this money in the paving in this amendment because we don't want to wait until the end of the summer.
Correct. We will have additional budgeted dollars for the July 1 fiscal year to continue paving options.
And just so the aldermen and the public at large understands, we currently have this money.
We do. It just
Okay.
was not there were several items that were not budgeted for. Other items were not budgeted with the anticipated increases. And then, of course, adding additional staff, trying to do additional paving. These things are just needed. Very few towns ever go through a year without a budget amendment.
And if I could add a little bit more, this does not reflect, and Ms. Lori helped me with this, we have a few departments that have increased revenues, more than was budgeted.
True.
So police, they're trending to be 200,000 more than we proposed on the revenue. So that doesn't reflect this, so there are some positives too, so.
Right, and when you do a budget amendment, your comptroller says don't spend more than what you appropriate. So irrespective of revenues coming in to offset it, if you spend more than you appropriate, you amend your budget. And that's all we're doing here.
Since we into this and you say some of it wasn't budgeted, what about our mosquito spray starting this year? Is it in the budget or has that got to be added?
It should be in your budget, but the majority of your mosquito spraying starts in July anyway, so
When?
it will be
I'm sorry.
budgeted.
No, it starts sooner than that.
It
No,
will, it
April.
will,
Yeah, I think
but
it's
it
April.
kind of goes between two budgets.
And I think our last approval that we did multiple years with the
Yes.
mosquito
Yeah.
company, so we
Starting
don't
in
have to
April.
approve it every year.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
I
We
just want
already
to make
approved
sure that we don't have to go back and amend again
No.
once we do
We're
this.
gonna try our best not to, so again, I don't think we will.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's one of the reasons that it is so high. You want to do this one time so we don't have to, okay.
Correct.
Correct.
That's my
Mayor,
question.
it also be pointed out, and I say this in all seriousness, that the legal fees are not in any way connected to the town's general
No.
counsel.
No,
Thank you.
I,
I want that to be clear.
That actually reduced
It's all his fault.
significantly, I'll say.
is there any other comment, any other question? All right,
Since we're gonna have to amend this and we're still in the budget, I'll make a motion we pass it.
I have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor Cates. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Austin. All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
Unanimous passage,
Thank you.
Madam Recorder. Okay, moving on. There are no resolutions under old business. We will go to resolutions under new business. The first resolution is Resolution 2503, awarding a fireworks bid for our 2025 annual 4th of July celebration. Do I have a motion to hear?
Motion.
Motion from Vice Mayor. Mr. Ellis, do you want to address this, or?
I can, and then defer to Chase. This resolution is authorizing the mayor to enter into agreement with pyro shows for the 2025 4th of July display. The amount is $15,900. Very similar show to last year, even though it's a different company. I think Chase can address some issues you may have, or he can explain the other two quotes.
Hold it before you get started.
Yes, sir.
Did we get any other bids besides this?
We did not. We did not get any other bids. Or we did get our 3 bids that we were supposed to get. So,
It's
yes,
in your
sir.
packet, there are 3.
Yes, sir.
I know,
They're all
I'm
there.
just curious, since he seemed like it went up quite a bit and we got a new company.
Yes, sir.
I think it was
Was-
17.
It was
It's
right
cheaper
about
than
the
it
same.
was last
Yeah.
I think it was 17 last year.
Was
Yes,
right
it
about the
was, it's cheaper.
That's all I got, I just wanna make sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I understand, Chase, that, looking over the information I have from the company that you selected, that I think we agree with, they do all the fireworks for all around us. I see on the list, they've done City of Bartlett in 2024, Collierville, also Arlington
Yes,
as
ma'am.
recent last year also. So they seem like they're doing everybody's fireworks
Yes, ma'am.
around us. So seem like they're a good company.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I've called a few of their references. They love them. So they said they're great to do business with. And I've talked with them numerous times, and they seem like pretty straightforward company. So, and I was also going to bring up while I'm up here. I talked to Mr. Harvey earlier. A bunch of those towns, such as Arlington and Bartlett, they are actually under contract with this particular company. So they do it for multiple years. I believe they lock in that price for a few years too. So I was wondering, I know I'm gonna have to go back and get quotes for that too. I was wondering if we would be interested in doing that, because going and getting these quotes every year, it's not time consuming at all, but I figured it would be easier for us as a town, going and getting those, locking that price in for, 3 or 4, however many years we wanna do it. That way, we know ahead of time who our, fireworks company is gonna be. That way, whenever our fireworks show gets done, I just call them up, hey, what day do we wanna do it next year? And we're not going through the bid process every single year. So if that's something you guys are interested in doing, I will go after that.
That's something that I'm interested in doing, but is that legal, Mr. Minor? Can we put out a bid for a multi-year contract, just like we do everything else, but we couldn't do it with this? It would have to be,
Separate.
No, you wouldn't be able to do it with this contract, but yes, you could.
We could come back with it.
It had to be under a different contract.
okay.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2503, authorizing the fireworks vendor to be Pyro Shows.
All right, I have a motion. Is there a second? Second from Alderman Bailey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Chase.
Thank you, Chase.
All right. Next up, Resolution 2504, awarding the park contract Phase 1B. Do I have a motion to hear? Motion from Vice Mayor Cates. Mr. Ellis?
Mayor and Board, this has been a long time coming. Staff recommends that we award the contract for Oakland Sports Complex Phase 1B to Grinder, Tabor, and Grinder in the amount of $5,874,508. I think we're all kind of familiar with the project. It's been bid twice. We have the funds. This will come from the half-cent sales tax that has been allotted for the park fund. Also, Ms. Shannon Carter, our grant administrator, is here. If you have any questions that I can't answer, she's available. But that's my recommendation, that we move forward and get this phase of this park done.
Is she here?
Yes, sir. There she is.
Do you want her to come up?
I think you told us the last time you were here that it was enough money to pay for this without having to borrow, right?
No, sir, I did not say that.
Oh, I thought,
That was Ms. Lori.
oh, I'm sorry.
I said that.
I thought you said she was here, the one that did the part. I'm
She's our
sorry.
Ms. Carter's our grant administrator, but yes.
Yes.
That's all right.
Yes.
No, we will not borrow any money. No funds will be borrowed or
Okay. I might make sure of
So
that.
we'll not be taking any money from the general fund.
No money from the
not-
general fund.
I'm gonna defer to Ms. Lori.
I'm not,
It's gonna be,
How much is in our general fund right now? I see the piece of paper that you gave us a while back, and it talked about how much was in the
it's
general
more than that.
fund.
That was a while ago. So
It
Ms.
was
Lori,
a
if you
while
might,
ago.
Put you on the hot spot.
And while you're coming up, that is a debate. I know the board is loath to take money from the general fund, even though we're gonna replace that money with the sales tax revenue. It's up to the board. We can build the park faster and start using it sooner, or we can delay construction and make it take longer and only use money from the sales tax.
To
The
use
sales tax is paying for it
To
one way
use
or
a
another.
half-cent sales tax, we're gonna have to extend this contract a few months longer. And then we'll be liquid. We'll have the money to do it without pulling pulling
But
it from general fund and paying it back.
Right, but
So
that
it-
few months will carry into the fall, which means you can't use it over the winter, and it'll be the next spring. But go ahead.
Go ahead.
So at this point in time in the fiscal year, the likelihood of the park being finished before July 1 is unlikely. So therefore, you're going to go into multiple fiscal year budgets. Between the current fiscal year budget and next fiscal year budget, you will be fine as far as not using general fund money to fund this project. It will all be funded by your half-cent sales tax. There could possibly be, and it just depends upon when they get it finished, that the park project may have to borrow $200,000 from general fund, but would put it back within the same fiscal year.
My fear is if we postpone it, guys, and we can, the grant, we have a little time on the grant, but if we postpone and rebid it, there's no doubt in my mind the price will increase.
And to further answer your question, the Capital Park project currently has $2.5 million in it. General fund currently has almost $7 million in it. So we are okay as far as all of that. We are currently putting over $100,000 per month into the park project fund with the half-cent sales tax. So we definitely pull in over $1 million per year. So with the 2.7 that we currently have, plus reimbursements we have not received yet, plus the million or a little over $1 million for next year, we should be fine. This is a 50-50 match. So we will get part of this money back. So we will be fine as far as that's concerned.
Well, we won't get that 600, and as you told me that, you told us that the $613,000, we're putting that up, right? Because we asked them for $785,000 and they turned us down. So
Well,
after all the changes, I'm not through, after all the changes that were made, then you said at that meeting, 613 is what we're gonna have to take and get. But you say it's in the, we can handle it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But how are we gonna get reimbursed for any of that 613? Not from the state.
No, not from the,
No.
Ms.
It will
Shannon,
be covered by your half-cent sales tax.
Okay, okay, yeah.
And we are going to go back to the state at a later time and ask for that money again. So,
Can you speak to reimbursement, please?
Yes, sir. The way it works, the town of Oakland has to pay all invoices up front, and then the state reimburses those invoices at 50%. Once the 50% match is made and you have exceeded the $2.5 million grant award, any costs that go over will be at the town's expense.
Correct.
So that's why you might have to pull from the general fund to cover it till it gets reimbursed. It's a shuffle game, but you will get the 2.5 million from the state.
yes.
And we will go back to them at a later date and request more funds once they have reviewed current applications and see if they have any funds available.
And just to be clear, in a $6 million project, we're only talking about the possibility of moving $200,000, which will be reimbursed at a later date.
Correct. Within the
Okay.
same fiscal year, correct.
Is it any way we could set a deadline on paying that 200,000 back if we have to?
It does have a deadline. It will have a deadline that it would have to be paid back by June 30th of 2026, which would be in the next fiscal year, which is the same time frame in which we may have to borrow it.
All right, we got another question. If we pull this 200,000 out of our general fund, when we start our budget in June, how's that gonna affect our property taxes going up next year?
It doesn't have an effect of your property taxes because it's just a temporary, less than 1-year loan. And it's an inter-fund loan, really talking about the same general fund. Because even though it's a park project, it's still in the umbrella of your general fund. So you're borrowing your money, but you're really not.
We're borrowing the money from ourselves at 0%.
You're borrowing money from yourselves,
We're taking a few dollars from our right pocket, putting it in our left pocket, waiting a little while and putting it back in our right pocket.
seeing if we can get some silver dollars, yes.
Okay.
When do we usually get our sale tax back? In July, June, July?
Sales tax is paid monthly.
Oh,
Every month, we get a sales tax check, both from the state and from Fayette County. And then, property taxes, the majority, about 70% of them hit by the end of December. And then the other 30% is by February the 28th.
I know you don't know exact number of the sale tax so far, but you got a roughly ballpark figure of what we have already?
On the half cent or on general fund? On the half cent?
On our half, just a sale tax.
So to give you an example, today, Ms. Vaughn received the sales tax for the 5 cent, and it was like 129,000. So if you take that times 12, you're looking at well over $1 million.
Any other questions?
I don't want to be the one to hold the park up, but I sure hate to pull it out of the general fund, but
Well, we may not have to
We
pull
may
it
not
out.
have to.
We may not have to pull it out of the general fund.
I want to do something to the park and get it going. I'm
Correct,
tired of hearing the park's too pile of dirt.
right.
We got a nice looking parking lot right now.
Yeah, but the gate's locked.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I did have one question.
yes.
We're not gonna get down the road and then all of a sudden find out this is gonna cost more.
No, no.
This is the price, and it's gonna be done for that price, right?
This is the bid. From my understanding, there's always contingency built into these bids. It should not go over this. Is that correct?
Yes,
And, and I
There's
can,
contingency in this bid at 5%.
and you're gonna oversee a lot of steps in this process, and let me assure you, Ms. Cotter's very good at what she does.
She sure is.
Okay,
Concerned about that.
that's a good question.
Last phase-
That's a
last
good
phase
question.
Ended up,
Yes, yes. Okay, is there any other discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank y'all.
make a motion, we accept the bid.
Make a motion to accept from Alderman Bailey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Campbell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All
Thank you.
righty.
Thank you.
Next up is Resolution 2505, authorizing the development of an industrial development board in Oakland, Tennessee. Can I have a motion to hear?
Motion here.
Motion from Vice Mayor Cates. Mr. Ellis? Or is this Mr. Minor? Who wants to speak to this?
I'll start, and then I'll defer to Mr. Minor. If you look at your packet, there's a resolution, of course, and then there's an application that has 3 signatures of registered voters and citizens of Oakland that's required to move forward with the resolution. This is required to accompany it. And then the last part is a certificate of incorporation. If you guys choose to move forward with this, once this is executed, we'll send this back to Attorney Lawhead, and then we'll move. And as I understand, the next phase would be to start appointing the 7-member of the actual board.
And there are 2 small typos in the resolution that they're in the resolved paragraph, which is your final paragraph. It says resolved by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the Town of Oakland that the board hereby authorizes the applicants to proceed to form the proposed. The word "for thee" needs to be struck and deleted. So it should be proceed to form the proposed corporation, not to proceed to form the proposed for the corporation. So those 2 words should be removed, for and the.
Tell me what line that is again.
That would be the 2nd line of the resolved paragraph, the final paragraph.
I understand. The last 2 words of that line, for thee.
Correct.
Okay. We've discussed this at length. We've talked about it in a workshop. Is there any other further discussion?
Who is Holly?
Ms. Holly works at Guarantee Bank.
Okay.
If there's no other discussion, would take a motion to approve as amended.
As amended.
And do I have a second? Second from Alderman Austin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is Resolution 2506. This is a resolution requesting that the charter of the town of Oakland, Tennessee be amended. Can I have a motion to hear?
Motion to hear.
Motion to hear from Alderman Campbell. Mr. Ellis? Mr.
Again,
Minor?
I'll start, and then I can defer to Attorney Minor. I think the best thing to do would be kind of summarize the proposed changes. So feel free to jump in, Tom, if I step on my own feet here. Under section 5.1, it has to do with I'll just read, the term of office of mayor and alderman shall begin upon the swearing in on the first business day of the month next succeeding the month of their election, provided the election results by the county election commission are certified. So basically what that means is, under this last scenario, the election was certified before, actually the day before, or the day of our board meeting. So we had the old board here to start the meeting. They stepped down, the new board was sworn in, they took over. The idea behind this is to clean that process up. Let the old board go ahead and do the November meeting, and then Monday, the first Monday following the certification of the new month. Go ahead, Mayor.
No, I was just going to say that if we need to read all of this, we can read all of this. But basically, this puts a definite inauguration day where everybody gets sworn in that is well past the time that the election commission should have to certify the election. It also specifies how compensation will happen, where the outgoing elected officials, their last day is the month of the election, and the new people will start getting paid for the next month after they're sworn in. And then there was one other change in here that is, it is assigning a seat to each elected official.
That's just a
So,
position, not a
Yes,
seat.
a position. Instead of everybody runs on one ballot and it's a at-large, everybody picks a seat, a position that they would like to run for. I think this gives voters more say-so, more control over who their elected representatives are, and it kind of makes it kind of diminishes the popularity contest that sometimes an election can have. If we need to read all of this, there's also a provision in here to add a sixth seat by ordinance if the board chooses after our population by census reaches 18,000.
Okay. What I'd also like to point out, Mr. Mayor, that yes, your assigned positions in this, I think Somerville, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Minor, did this, changed over their charter some time ago, 2004, so it was some time ago. But you still need to realize you've got positions, but the residents, you and the voters still vote at large. So even though you've got maybe two people might run against Miss Marilyn for her reelection, whatever, you as individuals will still get to vote for all of the positions. It's still the voting is at large. So, because you'll be able to go through each position and you'll still be able to vote for the person that you want in each position. It is not like the county commission that has strict districts or like the school board that has strict districts. The voting will be done at large, just so that everyone knows that.
And there was another change that we were considering, and that was, and that's not in here. We talked about how our department heads get hired and fired. I had a staff meeting a few weeks ago with them, and we discussed that at length, and an overwhelming majority of our department heads like the way that we have it now. They like the board being in charge, and they want to keep it that way. So that was positive news and good to hear.
And Mayor, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Tom.
I'd also point out that the election to increase your board by ordinance, which that was already in your existing charter.
Right.
But that is significant because it allows you to increase by one member the size of your board without having to go back to Nashville. You can do it by ordinance.
Yes.
That's all, but that's already in your charter. That would not be a new change.
What was the
18,000 by official US Census.
I want to get back to that last statement, and I've done a lot of thinking last night. I even prayed about it, thought about it all day. And I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for anybody on this board. I honestly do not want anything to do with the hiring and firing. I don't know what goes on up here. I don't know what they look for. And I've done a lot of thinking about this since yesterday. And I am against the board being in charge. I think Harvey, if he's gonna run the town, he needs to be in charge of the town. And it's only one provision that I'd like to see done if we go that route. If he's got more than one resume, more than one application for a head of department, I'd like to see 2 members of the board sit in on the interviews. That's the only thing I'd like to see. And like I said, I didn't sleep none last night worrying about this, and I'm just gonna speak my heart and the way I feel and my mind, so that's just the way I felt about it.
I appreciate that. That's not in here, but let me, all recommendations would come from the town manager. And the board would have a chance to meet and interview any potential candidates. And in the past, in previous boards, we didn't get to see any other applications from any other applicants. We only got to see the recommendation, and we did not get to speak to the person. So we are doing that differently now. Are there any other questions or comments about this resolution? This is this does require a 2/3 majority to vote. So I need at least 4 yes votes, or it will not pass. And I'm willing to.
Not change the charter.
This does not change the charter. This sends it to Nashville. That's an important point.
It's just the two recommendations, right?
Yes. I'll entertain a motion whenever you're ready.
I make a motion we send those 2 in without.
Motion to accept the resolution 2506 from Vice Mayor Cates. Is there a second? Second from Alderman Austin. I'm gonna do a roll call vote on this.
Yes.
Alderman Campbell?
Yes.
Alderman Austin? Yes. Alderman Hummel?
Yes?
Alderman Bailey?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cates?
Yes.
5 yeses, no nos. Resolution passes. Thank you. All right. Other items of business. Mr. Ellis? Have none. Moving on, approval of invoices.
Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Thought you said he was gonna bring up the water. Was that all he was gonna say about it?
If you'd like to know more about it, I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but.
Well, I heard him, but he was talking so fast.
Oh, okay. Yes, would you like to review the fluoride?
Yes, I would.
Do you mind?
I could understand it, but he was talking so fast, I couldn't.
Okay, yes, sir.
You did say that this was pending in the state, right?
Correct.
Do you know roughly, I know you don't know exactly, but is that supposed to come up with them pretty soon?
I would think so. I'm not really sure, though.
Then do we have to follow their decision, whether it's none or little or all, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I was gonna ask you that, but you was talking so
Gotcha.
fast, I couldn't get to you. Okay, thank you.
No invoices? Thank you, thank you. Then we're at the bottom. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Ellis said he didn't have anything.
I'll open it up to the board. Do you have anything that you guys are aware of that are?
I don't think we have anything pending.
I do have, well, I would say, I do have something. I was approached by a local builder about possibly paving the north end of Huber Farm Road Extended. We had a pretty big meeting about it this morning. I did mention to them if we had a work session, I allowed them to be on the agenda, but that is the only thing that I can think of now. And that,
Could I ask you a
We can wait on that?
Is that the same one that come before wanting to finish that road?
Yes.
The answer was no before. I don't know why
Yes.
it wouldn't be again.
Okay.
that's the only thing I can think of, and it's not,
Critical. There you go. Okay. Now, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion from Vice Mayor Cates, we are adjourned.
He was talking so fast, I couldn't understand it. I tried. It was talking so fast, I couldn't understand it. I tried. We can get it in there somewhere.